Yo, what's good, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore. Thank you so much for joining me on the Night Out podcast. And once again, you guys, I want to recap the day because I had a hell of a day, man. Seriously. I've been posting a lot in my stories, and I don't know about you, but I really like being able to share other people's work, other people's thoughts, their products, their services, their life's work. I love it. I really do. I love showcasing and I love building community that way. It makes me feel good. And there was one particular quote that I think it's We Are Free Thinkers is one of the accounts I really love. One of the quotes that they actually posted, I decided I wanted to share as well because it was really important to me. I don't think people understand the fact that there is such a thing as generational curses, and there is such a thing as, your parents trying to live vicariously through you because they've had to give up something or the other in order to be able to have the life that they were able to live or provide the kind of life that they wanted to provide for you as the child. And so in some small shape or form, they feel like you owe them something, and so they want you to fulfill their dreams for them. It's not a bad thing. It's just a coping mechanism. They feel regret. They feel like, oh my gosh, I gave up. How can I find a way to make sure that I did this for a reason, that there was some kind of good that came from the sacrifice I made? And so often we find stories from our parents about, oh, I gave up this to do this. I could have had this, but I did this instead. I could have had this corporate life, but I got pregnant. I could have gone off and done my master's degree, but you popped up. You were unplanned. And there's a lot of stress and pressure that's put on children. And it's from my generation going forward, actually, where we feel like we owe our parents something, but we didn't ask to owe them either. We didn't ask to be a mistake. We didn't ask to be planned or unplanned. It doesn't matter, but we feel that obligation. And I don't know about you, but in Indian families in South Asia, I feel like there's a lot of that goes around. Every generation has something that they gave up, that they want the next generation to fulfill. They're trying to, pressure you into arranged marriages or marriage at all. Like, this is the way things should be, and this is the way I was taught, so you got to do it that way as well. And this is how we actually pass down generational hurt. It's like the blind leading the blind. My grandparents' generation did not question their parents. They were not allowed to. They were beaten into submission. This is the way it was. My grandmother was put in a convent. She grew up in a convent. That was the schooling that she received, the kind of education she received. So you don't question anybody. It's the gospel truth. You just do as you're told. And from there, she obviously raised my mother the same way. These are the expectations. Girls do not do this, this, and this. You will do as I ask you to, because this is the way our family will thrive in the future. We will make the arrangement for you. This will be the kind of alliance we need, blah, blah, blah. You pass this property from your father's household to your husband's household, and that's just the way it was. It's not a bad thing, except it was never questioned. It led to a lot of destructive habits instead. So from there, my mom did the same thing. She did the best she could. She didn't want to have a situation where she didn't have a choice or a say in the matter. So a lot of times she did give me that leeway. She did ask me if I wanted to get married outside of college or outside of high school. And both times I said, no, I want to study more. I want to do more with my life. So I did appreciate the fact that she thought enough of me to be able to ask me and give me a choice. But there were other things that she was not able to give me a choice in because she wasn't ready to deal with that, right? She wasn't ready to deal with the fact that I might not become a doctor. I might not become an engineer. I might not be the kind of person that would get this great big job and she'd be able to retire right off the bat and not have to worry about anything else. I would take care of everything else. It didn't quite work that way. I made a couple left turns, right? I made a couple of mistakes along the way. But that isn't to say that I didn't do my best to try and impress my parents. But at some point I realized I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it to please the people around me. And that itself gave me heartburn. So I think the quote that really caught my eye today was this one by Carl Jung. It says, the greatest tragedy of a family is the unlived lives of the parents. And nothing is more harsh than to hear that line said out loud. Nothing is more tragic than the unlived lives of the parents. And yes, we give up a lot for our kids. We try to do the very, very best. There have been moments in my life where I wonder, man, if I wasn't a single mom, things would be different. I wouldn't have to run around trying to find a babysitter or ask someone for help to watch baby girl if I needed to go out and do something. There would be a lot of differences, absolutely. But you know what? I don't regret a single choice I've made. I don't regret at all having baby girl. She has been the light in my life from the moment she looked into my face. And honestly, I'm trying right now to make sure that the life I lead is not one that I will put pressure onto her for having to compensate. I'm trying to live the dream. I may not have been able to live my dream when I was younger before I had her, but I'm not about to let her be an excuse for why I don't accomplish my dreams now. I changed my lifestyle. I found a way to fight for my idea of success. Why? Because she keeps looking up at me like I'm a hero. So I'm trying to prove that in some ways I can be. I'm not going to be the hero. I'm not going to be Wonder Woman. I'm not going to be, Amazon goddess, any of those things. But I can show her that with whatever resources I do have access to, I will create the kind of life that I can be proud of. It may not be the way I think it should be done. It may not be the way the world has told me that a podcast should be set up, or that a business should be created, or that, content should be made, or interviews, or videos, or any of those things. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to screw up a few hundred times. But guess what? I'm going to be happy because I have no one to disappoint but myself. I've gotten to a place in my life where I have made peace with everybody in my life, the people who are actively in my life and the people who are not actively in my life, and I'm okay with that. I no longer associate with people who have strange expectations of me that have nothing to do with my dreams and my goals and my ambitions. I found a way to distance myself where it doesn't offend them and it doesn't affect me. And I'm good with that. And it took a lot of doing and a lot of courage and a lot of bad conversations. But you know what? At least I'm walking proof that you can be a parent and live a life without regret, because I'm making time for my dreams. I am proof that no dream is ever too late. You're never too old. You can begin from wherever you are. It's never from scratch. You have enough experience under your belt. And you can pick up skills from pretty much anywhere if you're determined enough to. So that resilience, that 80s kid, gumption, yeah, I'm making it work in my favor. Because I'm not going to be that parent that has a life of unfulfilled potential, and now I want to drag my kid through that same expectation my parents did. Nah, I'm going to get mine in this lifetime. I'm going to show my daughter that it can be done no matter what your age, no matter what your education, no matter what your skill set. In the day and age of the University of YouTube, we no longer have any excuses. What do you think? So if you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comments below. I want to hear from you. But in the meantime, you guys, think about this. The age of information means you have access to all of the experts in your field. You have access to any skills that you would ever want to learn, whether you have to pay for it or it's for free. Take the free ones until you get to a place where you can no longer find free content to get to that next level, and then pay. Do what you got to do for you. Make sure you rise to your own expectations of yourself. And then the sky's the limit, right? I love you guys. I hope you find what you're looking for. Good night.